Hi friends, welcome back to Maltana.com. Today I'm going to talk to you about my new custom effect which is called Screenify, and this is how it looks. Basically it allows you to create this Jumbotron look on any type of footage very quickly. So let's just go ahead and I'll show you how to create this preset. Let's just go ahead and create a new comp. That's fine. Let's take the footage and drop it in here like that. It's a keyed out footage, as you can see. We can even scale it down just a tiny bit like that. And we're also going to create a new solid to create a nice background. Make comp size just to make sure, and apply my other preset which is called Quickie Background. Okay, drop it in here. Maybe we can change the color to something more interesting like orange. Yeah, that really works well. What else? I think we can even pre-compose this. Call this BG for background, movable attributes. And we can even apply light wrap to our foreground layer. And choose our BG as our light wrap layer. This is way too intense, so we can go into the light settings and change the saturation down to maybe 50. Yeah, that works much better. Okay, so having that done, we're now going to screenify this footage. So let's just go ahead and select those both layers. Pre-compose to Screenify, and we're going to apply Screenify preset. As you can see, there's a bunch of effects in here, a whole lot of them actually. So before we go in depth on this, I'm going to show you how to create this effect very quickly. First of all, you gotta create a new ramp, make it horizontal. So we're gonna move the start of the ramp here, end of the ramp here, and set this to 512. So that's the width of our comp. Next, we're gonna apply colorama like that, because we want to create those cell kind of look. So we gotta choose the RGB preset and turn off interpolate palette, and that way we've got those 4 bars actually, but only 3 colors. So to make it denser, we can actually cycle the repetitions, or, which is a little bit better way to do it in my opinion, is to use CC Tiler. If you don't have those CC effects that are included on your After Effects installation disk. So just drop this in and just scale it down. Just so you know how this effect works, you can just turn off those 2 previous effects. And this is basically what it does. It takes the footage, takes your source layer, and basically scales it down and wraps it around itself. So this is what you get, right? So what we want to do is we want to do exactly the same thing, but with our ramp. So, and colorama and ramp. So let's do this like that. Maybe 1.5. Maybe 1.7. It gotta be a small number so we can see all the colors. It's really about finding the right value here. It may take a little bit of time, or just grabbing it with a control should give you nice results. I think I like this one. Yeah, 2.4. So theoretically 1.2, so exactly half of that, should also give us nice results. I think I like the 2.4 a little bit better. Okay, so that's it. And next, you can apply CC Composite onto the layer, and that brings back our source layer. And we gotta change the mode to hard light. Okay, that's better. And now we wanna put some, create some skylines. So just create a new grid and drag it in here. Move the source point here. change the border to maybe 1 or 2. Yeah, 2 looks better. And move this one just below our first one so that it creates nice lines like that. So if this one is -12, let's make this one -10. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, that's it. And we're gonna change the blending mode to normal and the color to black. And I think that looks quite okay. I think we can play with the CC tiler just a little bit. Maybe 2. Looks better. 1.9. 1.8. 1.6. 1.7. Okay, something like that. So this is the basic way to do it. And as you saw in the Screenify preset, I had a whole bunch of effects which make up the whole look and give you way more control. But this still works. We can now pre-compose this. Notice that this is another pre-comp that we're doing, and Screenify doesn't actually require any pre-comps. Let's call this make this another pre-comp. And now we can make this a 3D layer, for example. Move it back, rotate it just a little bit, so now you see how that looks. And I think that this is actually a little bit too strong, but that all depends on the type of footage and the type of blending you select in the CC composite. Of course, you can also play with the opacity and stuff like that to make it, to basically customize this look. So right now, let me just go ahead and show you how the Screenify preset works. So let's just go back to this comp and select all those layers. Oh, sorry for that. And apply Screenify. Okay. And please note that you've got a whole bunch of effects that say in the group that says do not change. And all of those are the ones that has FX next to them. You know what? I just gotta move to 8 bits. That'll make things work a little bit faster. And okay. But in fact, there are 2 places where you can actually make a small change. The first one is this one, FX footage, and you can change the blending mode in here if you like to soft light or to really whatever screen. This will probably be a little more too intense. Add, but I think that hard light will work for you most of the time. So this is the first place you want to be able to change. And the second one is not the glow, sorry, but the scan line. And here you can set the border. Let's make it 2. You'll see a very small change in the scan line. So these are the 2 places within the do not change group that you actually may want to change. But I guess you won't have to do that very often. I'm gonna leave this at 3 because that's the look I like. And let's just go to the Polygon Studio Screenify group here and see what kind of controls do we have over this effect. First of all, we've got the cell size, which basically makes our TV cells, sets the size for them, obviously. We can make them smaller, bigger, or whatever we like. Let's try 8. It's pretty obvious how it works, right? I'm gonna leave this at 6, maybe at 5. Yeah, 5 is a little bit more intense. I think I like it. Next, we've got a pixelizer. This is basically a warp around the mosaic filter, so you can imagine how that works. Something like that. Really depends on the look and on the cell size and other parameters. I created this parameter, just in case if you're working with really huge cells and really huge footage. Next, the interesting part are the cell settings. Here we can set the lightness of each cell, so we can make this whole image a little bit brighter, like that. I think that we can leave this at 100. And we've also got the saturation of those cells, so we can pump it up really high. so it's more intense, like so, or decrease the saturation, and that way we have more of the original colors of the original footage. But let's leave it at 80 at default settings. And we also have the cell shading option, which is pretty interesting. It creates this kind of a pattern on the cells, as you can see. It's not much, but it can make a whole world of difference if in a certain type of footage. But in this case, I think I will turn it off. And next, we've got the glow settings, which is enabled, a default. If I turn it off, I hope you can see the slight difference. We can turn down the threshold. Those are the three basic settings of the glow effect. So we've got threshold, radius, and intensity. We can drop the threshold down to 50. That way we'll achieve a little bit more of a glow. And maybe intensity to 1.5. Whoa, that's really glowing. And also we've got the intensity puncher, which does exactly what it says it does. It basically, if you set it to 100, the whole effect is twice as strong as it would be when you would set it at 0. So by default, I set it to 50 because that usually does the trick. And also we've got the overall strength. So in other words, it's like fading the whole effect. So we can make it at 50 and then you can start to see, you begin to see more of the original footage. If you set it to 0, you don't see any effects of the Screenify, of your actions. So you probably want to set it at 100. So there's one more parameter here that you may want to change. And this is this effect at the end, which is called enable to keep alpha. This is useful when you're working with huge glows like this one. This is why I made it so strong. If I'm going to scale this footage down, or simply make it a 3D layer and move it back, and rotate it, always looks nice. You're gonna see that the glow is actually spilling outside of the layer, and this might be something that you like. This is usually why you apply the glow, right? But if for some reason you don't want to have any spills outside of your comp, outside of your footage, you want to click here and enable this effect to keep the glow within the original alpha channel. So this is how the Screenify preset works. You can get it on my site, on maltanen.com. I guess that's it. Let me just show you again how this effect looks like when applied to a footage and with some nice camera movement. Okay guys, so this is how the Screenify custom effect works. I hope you like it. And in fact, the Screenify effect is a part of Making It Look Great 5 training DVD, which I had a pleasure to create for you guys. And if you get the DVD, you get this preset along with some other cool presets and custom effects. So consider getting the DVD instead of this little thing. In fact, on the DVD, you will learn how to create this effect in depth using pre-comps, which also give you some sort of a flexibility, and in some cases it's actually better to do it using pre-comps than applying all the effects to a single layer. But that's all covered on the DVD. I'm not going to go in depth about it in here. So once again, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you will enjoy the preset, and hopefully that you will get the DVD to support me and my efforts, fill your heads with After Effects knowledge, secrets and tips and techniques. Until next time, happy After Effecting!